Here is a 2024 Subaru Outback Wilderness in crystal white pearl over StarTech repellent interior. What is the Wilderness? Well, you're going to get increased ground clearance, increased weight for the roof rails, increased towing. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to explain to you why this is the sweet spot for the Outback, giving some pros and cons and some comparison with my test drive. Up front is going to start off with the C-structure LED headlamps and daytime runnings with hexagonal LED fog lamps. Recovery hooks are going to be with the copper color, 9.5 inches of clearance, glare resistance for the hood, and you get the decal with these flared out fenders that encase these unique 17-inch alloy wheels with all-terrain tires, Subaru Wilderness badging, and on the lower skirt, the rockers are going to be more off-road oriented with the copper Outback badging. Raised roof rails, this is standard, but 700 pounds of weight is not. That's what you're getting for an increase there. With towing increasing not only because it's the turbo, but because this is the Wilderness, by 800 pounds to 3,500 pounds, which is going to be the same as Toyota and Honda, but it will be more than Hyundai. 2.4 liters underneath this hood. It's a Subaru Boxer turbocharged 4-cylinder that's going to produce 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. It is paired to the CVT transmission, which will mimic an 8-speed automatic transmission, and you're going to achieve 21 MPGs for the city and 26 MPGs for the highway, which when you're looking for a wagon or an SUV that's lifted up to nearly 10 inches. This is one of the best in class. C-structure LED tail lamps, the lower roof spoiler gets the matte black instead of the gloss, but it fits the cue to Subaru because they usually use matte black on the whole lower trim. So I like that they incorporate that because it's more of a durable material in which you're definitely going to take this off-road. It's a 4-wheel independent suspension. The front will have a strut with lower arms. The rear will have a double wishbone, both with a stabilizer bar. Symmetrical all-wheel drive is standard, which any of the rivals you compete against, you're going to have to pay for all-wheel drive. This also has vehicle dynamic control and active torque vectoring. So this is just going to help with more maneuverability for on-road, and you still have capabilities to go off-road. Power liftgate going into 32.5, which is not going to be the best in class. The bumpers are raised up a little bit more so than the Honda CR-V with a 12-volt inside. Underneath the floor, we get a spare tire. The privacy cover can be changed in different directions. I do like that because if you have objects that are bigger, you can just simply move it and keep it stored in the back. Split fold the rear bench in the back, which is one of the best in class because a lot of the competition doesn't do that. And that will max the cargo to 75.7 cubic feet. It is a long opening, but it's still not going to be the most. Let's go inside, start up this turbocharged so you can hear that exhaust note. Because this is off the Onyx trim, 10-way power seat adjustment, StarTech seats, heated front seats, 8-way power seat adjustment for the passenger. If you want leather, you got to go to the Limited. The Touring will get the Napa leather. Wilderness badging in the headrest. Headroom will be 40.2 inches. Legroom, 42.8 inches. The footwells are very deep and wide for the front occupants, starting with storage for the passenger, that copper contrast stitching that goes down the dashboard with the satin aluminum on the top tier of the air vents on the side. Gloss black will surround 11.6. 576 watt Harman Kardon with 12 speakers. Wi-Fi hotspot, 4G LTE. The Onyx trim will get the 6 speakers and the base will get 4 speakers. Put it into reverse with a reverse camera. The lines expand out when you turn the steering wheel. Dual climate control settings are found inside the infotainment screen. Wireless charging pad we do not receive, but we get some USB ports and an electric parking brake. The contrast stitching goes into the push button start, gloss black around the gear knob. And if you push here, you'll get a quick image of the exterior. And there's your driving modes. The key fob for the Outback. It's going to be soft where you rest your arms. Open up inside, and you get a small storage pocket for some notes. Open up again, it's a little bit more deep with a 12 volt. 3-spoke steering wheel with the copper inlays. It's heated. Adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, the paddle shifters, the stocks. The gauge cluster has a 4.2 informational display that can go through an array of information for the driver. Otherwise, it is going to be analog for your gauges. The dashboard and the door panels integrate in together, and they give you this aluminum look, and it's kind of like a scratch resistant, the same as on the exterior. You get the StarTech water repellent materials found all over with the Wilderness badging, one touch up and down for all the windows, and a storage pocket with the beverage holder carved out in the front, the upgraded Harman Kardon sound system, and a moonroof with a edgeless rear view mirror with the home link and auto dimming. For your sunglasses, it's easier to move the mirror because the eye sights are put up a little bit more so than in the cross track. For the back seats, 39.1 inches of headroom, and it is carved out. It has a little bit of a circular design. 39.5 inches of legroom, storage behind both of the front seats, and it's a 3-tier setup, so a smaller cell phone to a large tablet, and if you want to put a laptop. Climate control vents, USB, heated rear seats. It's going to be soft for your rest your arms, cup holders. The door is going to receive the same materials that are found in the front. The StarTech water repellent, soft for your arms, and a small storage pocket with a beverage holder in the center. Scooting over, the floor is not completely flat, but you can put your feet up if you need to. There is plenty of feet in the well area. The rails are pushed up. Butt space isn't too much of an issue, and headroom is going to be a little bit more tight here because of the way this bulges out in front of you. 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 260 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque. The CVT transmission has been tweaked over every year basically to make it a little bit better in response, and it mimics an 8-speed automatic transmission, which I appreciate that. Going into some of the pros and cons right off the bat, I always like that you have increased ground clearance, nearly 10 inches. 0.8 inches doesn't sound like a lot, but at 9.5 it really is. And it doesn't feel like that in the drive. I like that it's not something like a Jeep Wrangler in the sense where I feel like I'm just so tall off the ground, and you don't necessarily need that because we have the clearance here. Some other things, the water repellent seats is definitely a plus. Sound deadening is also a lot better so than the competition, whether you're talking about Toyota, Hyundai, or Honda. The larger screen display is good. It can be glitchy at times, which can be a con, and I don't like how the reverse camera is only like maybe 4 inches of the screen. It would be nice to cover up the whole screen. The storage cubbies are pretty user-friendly in the sense that you could just throw your phone in. The cup holders are exactly where they should be, and for the armrest, it's actually placed decent whether you're short or tall. Power seat adjustment for the passenger seat, which is something that I always stress needs to be there. You get 8-way power seats, but a con would be that you have to go to the top spec in order to get ventilated seats, and this is found through every industry nowadays. They're not liking to give you options. They're just pushing you into a different trim level. Brakes, because this is turning red, is going to stop on a dime. I'm actually bracing the steering wheel quite well. The sweet spot to this is you're not just getting a few improvements. You're getting quite a bit, and it's coming off of the Onyx trim. So you're not necessarily spending something to just get aesthetics. Even using the roof rails, 700 pounds, when you pair that with 3,500 pounds towing, I mean, you're beating everybody in its class for the price point. I have it in manual, so we can use the paddles. Even though it's a CVT, it's gonna mimic an 8-speed automatic transmission, so 8-gear ratio. We're gonna see how well she performs. 0 to 60 is in the lower 6 seconds, which is pretty quick considering the size of this vehicle. It doesn't feel very wide. Let's see how well she performs. Once you get up to about 2.5 to 3 RPMs, the vehicle just livens up really well. But there is a little bit of a hesitation, which is the turbo lag before then. I would say the sweet spot in that is around 2200 RPM, where it just is ready to go full on. Turn radius at a stop point is going to receive very tight, about 1.5 lane. Let's rock and roll without a manual. Again, finding that happy medium, it will just kind of throw you back a bit. It's a fun to drive vehicle. The steering doesn't have too much weight either, in which when you have a vehicle that's off-road oriented and you can do it as a daily, you typically will have a little play, and you don't have that with Subaru. And these are all-terrain tires. It doesn't actually feel like that. Headroom is great, even with the way the windscreen is designed, because I can even put the seat back further if I needed to. I'm 6'3", and I'll still be able to see the lights because it's such a large windscreen. And all the windows all around you, it's just a very safe car. The eyesight is also raised up a little bit more so than a prior Crosstrek, which they have fixed that in the 24 model. You can actually move your hands in between it, but here is still going to have the most usable space. The only thing that they're neglecting is a pass-through, but you still have a storage pocket on the passenger side. The door pockets could have a little bit more storage capacity. You have a total of 8 cup and bottle holders throughout the cabin, which is more than enough for a 5-passenger vehicle, and you have a sufficient amount of cargo too. So it really does tick the box for adventure and daily use, going against any of the competition. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Subaru of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2024 Subaru Outback Wilderness for our car review.